Good Tevach, everyone. Welcome back. Today's Rambamyomi after a very long time, close to 2 weeks. We didn't make a share. Baruch Hashem, we are back at it. And now it's Mitzvah Shabbos. Before I start, I'd like to say a quick story. It's a good time for stories, right? Let's hear about the Rebbe. And Helik Shliach, Shleim Kunin Shlita, he said a story that he once went to the Rebbe. And he came in, he had a lot of debt. He had a $200,000 debt. And he went to the Rebbe and he said he's not much stuck, he doesn't know what to do. So they pulled out of his drawer, he had like a desk, and he pulled out of his drawer $1,000, $100 bills. And he gave it to Shlomo Kunin, and he was very worried, what is this about? And he told him, take each one of these $100 bills and sell each one for $20,000. And that's how you will cover your debt. And that's what he did. He went knocking on people's doors, very rich people, and he told them, I have a $100 bill from the Rebbe. Would you like it? And he said, sure. For $20,000, it's yours. And very long story, but that's pretty much what he did, with many other interventions in the story. But that's like the more or less. So he was saying, what was the moral of the story? Among other stories that he was saying, is that if you want to have a connection to the Rebbe, it doesn't come on its own. There are many things that the Rebbe could have done on its own. There were many things that the Rebbe did not hire anyone to do. Until the right person stepped up and said, I will do it. And then he built his connection to the Rebbe through that. And then once you build your connection to the Rebbe will walk you through all the situations that you need to walk through. So the Nakuda is, if you want to be connected to the Rebbe, you have to take the initiative. He gave an example. He said with the oil, when the Rebbe used to go to the oil, to feed the kibbutz oil, in the wintertime, or in a rainy day, a lot of puddles over there. So they used to stand in water, a lot of, like a puddle of water, and they used to read the letters and put it in the oil. And that's how it was for quite a while, until someone came and took the initiative and put like 2x4s, so they could walk on it, and everyone had to stand in the water, in the puddle. And Shlomo Kunin did it. And once he was doing that, he created a kesher with the Rebbe, and then they were walking through all the other situations that he was in. So it's you want to be connected to the Rebbe now, for approaching Gitchfat. Yeah, they never took the Messias. Want to have any kesher connection, you have to take the initiative. Yeah, that's the Nakuda. Yeah, that's a nice Mitzvah Shabbos story, and it's a nice story for all the times, not just Mitzvah Shabbos. Yep. Okay. So we're continuing Hilchos Edus, Halacha Yud Gimel. This perek, I like to call this perek. So I'm just I feel like I want to be blocking the neighbor's picture. Okay, maybe that's better. I like to call this perek the Gej perek. Why is Gej? I don't know what's Gej. Gej literally means in Hebrew, the Gezem. I don't know what's the English word. Like the stump of the tree or something. The main part of the plant. The trunk. So many people refer to that as the trunk of a certain society, the source. So today, and many people have all these discussions. So who was your Zidi? Who was your Baba? Who was your uncle? Who was this? Who was that? The whole time, denying around the cup. How was your cousin and how am I related to you? How's he related to me? How's he related to her? The whole circle, going around and around the circles the whole time, trying to figure out how are you related and who's related. So in this perek we're going to discuss what is the real Gej, who is really related and who is really not related. Halachic terms of who is related to who's related to what, in connection to Edus, but it's who's related to who, right? Because many times you think, oh, this guy is my family, but according to Allah, it's not your family. Or is your family, but it's not enough for your family. Okay, so we're gonna begin. This halacha has a lot of roller coasters, so hold tight to get this halacha, to get this perek. Hilchos Edus, perek Yud Gimel. Akrevim psulim the edus min Torah. Relatives are forbidden from testifying with each other or for each other or against each other min Torah. Shneimad lo yamusu avis albanim, because the Torah says parents, a father should not die because of his child, meaning because of his. There's many meanings to this pasuk, but what we learned out from here, we heard from Pir Shmuel, meaning from Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was told word of mouth. Pir Shmuel Hamdu shebichlal lav zeh shlo yamusu avis al pi banim. We learned out from this pasuk that a father should not die based off his son's testimony. And sons should not die based off their father's testimony. Meaning, if they're related somehow, the father to the son, they can't testify against each other. That is the source of what we learn out, this whole story of being related and not being people that are being related, that they could testify or not. Yeah, oops, sorry, I'm having two different Rambams. Some of them have different gears, so that's why I'm holding two Rambams. Some of them have added words and take off some words. I hope I don't get confused over here. Okay. And same too is din to other relatives, meaning other relatives are, we can explain later on, that they're not allowed to testify. Yeah? For a general rule before we get in, oh, here he says it already. It's only who's considered family to testify for each other, people who are related only directly through the father. And go on and explain. Only relatives that are from the bloodline coming from the father. The father with his son can't testify to each other or with each other. And he also can't testify with his grandson. And brothers from the father. Brothers from the father cannot testify. Okay, so let's continue. Sorry about that. Meaning they're brothers from the father, not from the mother. And their kids, first cousins, not allowed to testify. Uncles with nephews cannot testify. But if they're related through marriage or through the mother, they are puzzle midivregim, meaning midrabanan, not midaraisa. Later on, we can read about. Now, from now on, we're just going to explain who is puzzle midaraisa and midrabanan. They're not going to be differentiated over here in the Rambam. Let's see if we have a quick picture for what we just mentioned. Let's see that. Did you see that? Over here. Father to son can't testify. Grandfather to grandchild cannot testify. Brothers cannot testify. Uncle to nephew cannot testify. And what else did we mention? First cousin not allowed. Okay, there we go for that. Just in case you're curious what the video is. That's the video right there. There we go, all clear right there. I hope that's clear. Baruch Hashem, let's move on to the next. Okay, we are continuing. Halacha days. Ha'achim zeim ze. So, whoops. Agedim einam bedin hakrevim. Afilu shnei achim ta'imim shnisgaydim be'idim ze lazeh. Yeah, Gadim, converts. Brother converts, yeah? Even if they're twins. If they're twins and then they decide to convert, they could testify for each other or against each other in court. Because someone who converted, he is considered as a newborn. So even though he has a brother, and his brother also became a yid, they're not considered brothers anymore. How fascinating is that? And the Rambam adds over here, they are complete strangers. So this is a situation where you have twins, but they're not brothers. Twins, they look identical maybe, and they're not brothers, halachically. Right? Very interesting. Okay, halacha gimel. Yeah, we're setting we're gonna give the background rule for all of this, what we're gonna say. So it's very important. If you just follow these rules, you get everything. There's Rishon, Sheni, and Shlishi. First generation removed, second generation removed, third generation. Meaning where the relationship starts, and as it gets further and further and further. 3 generations. Up to 3 generations, it's considered related, and after 3 generations, it's not considered related. So, if you're looking to be Gej, you have to find out. You have to know these rules. These are the rules: 1, 2, and 3. Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi. Now, throughout the whole of the Perek, the Rambam is gonna base everything off this principle. So Gimel, ha'achim zeim zeh beimin ein beimin av hareim rishon b'rishon. Brothers, make a difference if they're brothers from the father or just from the mother. They're rishon b'rishon, the first generation. Yeah, the first generation brothers. That's the relationship started over there. The brothers, right? Reneim zeim zeh sheni b'sheni, and their kids are the first cousins. That's second generation. They're called sheni. They're called second. Yeah, uvenei v'neim. And their kids, which are second cousins, they are shlishi b'shlishi. They are, the cousins with each other are considered third generation relationship. Let's see if we have a picture just to get that clear. Let's see how big that is. Okay, let's see if that's clear. Yeah, so you have brothers, that's first generation. Then you have their kids, their first cousins. That's second generation. Then you have third generation, which are second cousins. So we're always going to be following this principle. This is the base for the whole idea of relationship of kosher le'edus, not kosher le'edus. Everything is based off this. So maybe we're going to leave that up there for the next 2 halachas. Yeah, u'la'olam shlishi b'rishon kosher. Actually, we can take that down in a second because we're going to have to put a different picture. U'la'olam shlishi b'rishon kosher, and Allah Dalet, you were reading. Third generation with a second generation, with a first generation is kosher. What does that mean? It doesn't mean a grandson with his grandfather. We just said it's not good. So what does that mean? It means a grandson with his great uncle. Let's see a picture of that. Where is it? Wow, I just hope I don't get lost over here. Okay, let's enlarge that a little bit, and we're going to see exactly what I. Oops, the camera just moved. Exactly what I'm talking about. So we have Pinchas. Pinchas is third generation, right? Aaron, Eliezer, then Pinchas, right? Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, right? So you have Pinchas, Elazar, then Aaron. So Pinchas is third, Eliezer is second, Aaron is first. So now we're saying third to first is allowed. It doesn't mean his grandfather Aaron. He means his great uncle Moshe. That's what he means Rishon, meaning in the first relationship. So Pinchas could testify with Moshe, or Moshe could testify against Pinchas. Pinchas could testify against Moshe. That's the relationship. The Pinchas and Moshe are not Gej. They're not Gej. You can't claim that you're Gej if Moshe is your great uncle. You cannot claim Gej. If he's your great father, great grandfather, then he can claim Gej. It's going to be all kids of Moshe, but they all come from Moshe. But in terms of halacha and testimony, you're not considered. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Shlishi b'rishon. That's what it means. Shlishi b'rishon. But it's shlishi b'sheni. Shlishi b'sheni would mean Moshe. Would mean Pinchas with Moshe's son. Oh, I didn't put that there. Moshe had a son Gershom, right? So Pinchas with Gershom would be allowed to testify. Let's see. Oh, I think we have a picture for that. Let's see 1 second. Let's see if we can pull that up. Okay, we have to take that down to bring up the next one. Right there. Oh, there it is. Okay, we got that. Way too big, but okay. Similar idea, yeah? So here, Pinchas with Gershom, so there's a funny word. Where's the word called first cousin once removed? I never got that word till I went to this Rambam. First cousin once removed means he is your first cousin, but he's removed one generation. He's one generation before you. Pinchas and Gershom are not the same generation, because he is a generation later, after Elazar, so he's a later generation. So Pinchas could testify with Gershom, which is his first cousin, once removed, one generation up. That's what the Rambam is saying. In Tzachleimar, Shlishi B'Sheni, Shlishi, a third generation, could testify of a second generation once removed, which is Gershom in our case. Yeah, these are the real kids. We're not this is the real family. We're not borrowing just the names. This is exactly the family tree of Moshe. Yeah, Moshe has another son, Elazar. I just don't want to mix it up because Moshe and Aaron have one kid have similar names, Elazar and Eliezer. So I didn't put that in the chart. But yeah, another son Eliezer, right? Elazar. So yeah, so that is allowed. There, Avasheni B'Sheni, but second cousins, like we said before, are not allowed. I don't know why now one mentions this again, second cousins. I don't know why. Sorry, first cousins. Or, yeah. I already got confused. Okay, let's keep it simple over here, okay? Sheni B'Sheni. Sheni B'Rishon. Shneim Psulim. Sheni and Rishon, being a second generation, a cousin with his uncle, is puzzle. If that's what I'm getting correctly yet. I just got confused already. I'm not going to say any more, not to get any more confused. I said it one time good, and that's it. I'm not going to mess it up. Okay. Halacha hey. Okay, let's take that picture. Okay, halacha hey. Ha'av in benoi kedishain berishanu. Yeah. So now that we established the first, second, and third, now we're going to base everything off that kind of. Halacha hey. Ha'av in benoi kedishain berishanu. The father and son are rishon, first generation relationship. Yeah. Ha'av in ben benoi posel. Therefore, the father cannot testify for his grandson because that's first generation. That's rishon, and that's shlishi. His grandson is shlishi to him. It's third to him, and he cannot do that. He cannot testify. But his great grandchild, which is fourth generation, he could testify with him or for him or against him, whatever. Yeah, they always say that after a fourth generation, the grandfather doesn't recognize. They say many times, like a family event, the grandfather sees the grandkids, like, oh, very nice. He sees the grandkids, and he sees they're having to come with their kids. Like, who are these kids? Doesn't know them. Fourth generation, yeah. Because Shlishi B'Rishon is allowed. Third generation, with first generation is allowed. Why is I'm calling it third, even though it's four? I don't know. Wait a second, let's hope I'm not getting confused. That's what I'm said. I'm said to call it third, even though it is second. Let's just see what we have over here. Which halacha was that? Halacha hey. Sorry, I'm going to have to cheat over here in front of your face because I already started recording and I'm not interested in stopping to record. Meishur Shlisha B'Rishon. Didn't say that. I don't know why I called it Shlisha B'Rishon. I guess it's at least 3 generations separation. That's what it means properly. Okay. Same thing applies to Nikevis. Females, the same exact thing. The same rules apply to females. Males and females here have the same exact rule. Yeah, two brothers, two sisters, or brother with a sister. Doesn't make a difference if they have the same father or the same mother. They are first generation. If they're siblings, then they're Rishon. And their kids, first cousins, they're Sheni B'Sheni, right? They're second. B'nei B'nei, B'nei B'nei with their great grandkids or their great granddaughters are Shlishi B'Shlishi. They are third generation with third generation, which are not allowed. The same way you count 3 generations by Zcharim, by the males, you also count the same way by Nikevis. Halacha Vav. Kol isha she'ata pasul lo kach ata pasul lebayla. If you are forbidden from testifying for a female, you're also to testify with her husband. Shabal ki ishtay, because the husband is considered just like his wife. And if you're forbidden to testify for a husband, let's say you can't testify with your brother, you also can't testify with your brother's wife or against her wife. Yeah, because the isha and the husband and wife are considered one. Halacha Zayin. What if you have two females which are second cousins? Their husbands could testify with each other, even though just a second ago we said that you can't. What is the answer? I hope I didn't confuse myself over here because it's very confusing. We only say a Balki Ishtai by first generation. We only say a husband is like his wife first generation, but second generation we don't say that anymore. So that rule of Balki Ishtai, that a husband is just like his wife, is only first generation relationship. But second, by cousins we don't say the husband is like a wife regarding edus. Yeah. But if a female married someone and her daughter married someone, their husbands cannot testify against each other or for each other. They are related. The shviger, a person cannot testify against his shviger, right? That's what it says, or with his father-in-law. That's what I mean. He can't testify with his father-in-law or against his father-in-law. That's what it means. That's what it means. In simple terms. Yeah, because it's Rishon B'Rishon, because it's, I guess, the same generation. Consider Rishon B'Rishon. Okay, let me get serious. I'm not going to get too deep over here, but trying to keep it as simple as possible, because once you start touching other areas over here, it gets way complicated. Also, brother-in-laws are considered Rishon B'Rishon, even though they're not siblings, but their brother-in-laws, they consider Rishon B'Rishon. This is probably the Rabbanon. Okay, halacha test. You shouldn't testify for the nephew from your wife's side, and not a husband of your niece from your wife's side, because that is Rishon B'Sheni. That's first or second, right? Like we said. But he could testify for his nephew from his wife's side, meaning, let's say your wife has a sister, she's married, let's say, to Reuven, but Reuven is married to your sister, but he's also married to somebody else. So the son that was born from a different wife, which she has no relationship to you, you could testify with his son from a different wife. That's halacha tes. Halacha yud. Kol ish she'ena tameid lo yipnei shehu balker v'secha harei tameid lo she'ar kreva. If any person you cannot testify to him because he's related to you, when this be ways, you could testify to his other relatives. Going benoi ba'achiv, you could testify to his son or to his brother. Let's say your brother-in-law, right? So you could testify to your brother-in-law's son or his brother. From a different wife. He's your brother-in-law, but he's also we don't want to find out your brother-in-law has two wives. But he's mentioning your brother-in-law that he has a son from a different wife, and so you could testify. He has no relationship. Yeah. Same too with the wife. The same thing. You cannot testify with her or for her against her, but you can testify to her brothers or her sisters or to her nephews or to your nephews. That I'm not sure how that works exactly from the wife's side. They don't come from your brother. Yeah, if she has kids not from your brother, then she's not related to you. The kids are not related to you. Okay, halacha yud aleph. Avi kala, avi chasam me'idin zelazeh. Shver, father of the kala, father of the chasen could testify for each other. Yeah, it's very interesting. You come to a chuppah, you could have the shver could mate. I mean, I don't know if he can marry for his daughter, but stop saying but theoretically, mechutanim could testify together. They're not considered. They're not gesh. Someone says, "Oh, my mechutan is this, is that." Your mechutan is not related to you. Forget about it. Don't try to ride on it. You're not gesh. Don't worry. If you're a Sephardi, you'll stay a Sephardi. If you're Ashki, you'll stay an Ashki. And that's it. Chotanim are not going to help you. Maybe in other things, but not in edus. Okay, halacha yud beis. Achia of min ha'im. Brothers. Okay, first we're gonna literally translate this, and then we're gonna explain it. So, hatzach kap, hold your head. Achia of min ha'im. Brothers of the father from the mother. Okay, sounds confusing, but we'll get there. Okay, meidin zelazek, testify to each other. Shirei ein b'neim kir v'klal. There's no relationship at all. Keitzad. Rachel shenises liyosef. Okay, I don't know why the Rambam uses all these names, and he completely confuses you. But this is what how the Rambam was going, so we're gonna go with the Rambam. Yeah, so forget about what you know for a second about Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov and the 12 Shvatim. That was gonna mess up all the names over here. It's gonna be completely funny and weird and awkward, but this is what it is. Okay, so you have Rachel. Rachel married Yosef, and they have a son named Reuven. Simple, yeah. Rachel married Yosef, and she had a son named Reuven. And Yosef, Rachel's son, married somebody else, and he has a son, Menashe. So now we have Reuven and Menashe, which are the sons of Yosef, but only Reuven is the son of Rachel as well. So Menashe and Yosef are not related. They're only related through the father, not related through the mother. Umeis Yosef died. V'nisis leShimon. Now Rachel married Shimon. V'yolda mimenu Yehuda. And now Yehuda was born. And Menashe v'Yehuda me'inus lazeh. Menashe and Yehuda could testify to each other. Why? Because Menashe was born from Yehuda was born from Rachel, and Reuven was born from Yosef. Yehuda was born from Rachel, and Menashe was born from Yosef from a different mother. So the only relationship is that they have the same parent. One has the same mother and one has the same father, but they have other than that, they don't have the same relationship at all. Let's see if we could deconfuse that. I hope I'm not going to add to the confusion over here, but let's make that a little bit bigger. Whoops, that's way too big. Yes, okay. So what do we got here? Yeah, you have Yehuda and Menashe. Let's hope I'm not going to press any buttons I don't want to press. Whoops. Oh, we're still recording. Okay, good. So you have Yehuda and Menashe, and they ask, can we be brothers? So Yehuda says, I have a different dad. I have a different father. His father is, Yehuda's father is Shimon. Right? Yehuda's father is Shimon, so it's not Yosef. Menashe's father is Joseph. See, he says my dad is Joseph. Two different fathers, okay? Yehuda and Menashe have two different fathers. Okay, we got the fathers clear. And now Yehuda's mother is Rachel. And if her mom is Rachel. So his mother is different, which is Rachel. Yehuda's father is different. Yehuda's father is Shimon. So I don't see how they are related. No, they're not brothers. Rehuda and Menashe are not brothers. They could testify together. I don't know. I hope I didn't make it backwards. I hope this is it. I hope this makes this clear, simplifies it. All right, let's take that down. Okay. Hey, Menashe could testify for each other. Okay, Aloch Yud Gimel. Ha'ish im ish ta'irishin b'rishin. Yeah, a person if his wife is rishin b'rishin. I hope I'm not scaring you. I have a chassan over here in the background, and I don't want to scare him. Everything is okay. Ha'ish im ish ta'irishin b'rishin. Father, yeah, a person whose wife is rishin b'rishin. He can't testify to his wife's. Maybe it's talking about the second marriage. His wife's son, not to his wife's, not to his. Wow. You see how confused, man? It's so confusing. This is Hebrew. I mean, I should know this, right? But I'm just getting confused over here. I'm getting confused on my own words over here. I don't know why. I feel like I have to record again. Okay, let's stop this. Okay, a person with his wife is consideration b'rishon, like we said, right? He cannot testify. He can't testify for his wife's sons from a different marriage, like the eishes b'no, not to his wife's son's wife from a different marriage, right? And not to her daughter. And not to the husband of her daughter, meaning his wife's daughter from a different marriage. And he cannot testify with his shver, not with his shviger, and not to the husband if a second marriage if his shviger remarried, he can't testify with the shviger. And if his shver remarried, he can't testify to his wife. To his shver's wife, yeah? So don't get confused. Mechotanim are not related, but the person to his shver is related. Yeah? Halacha Yedalid. Ishtei arusa afpi shlerim ra'ishu sadeh hikenesu alein edus. Yeah, if his wife is just engaged to him, we're not talking about engagement that we do today. Engagement back in the day was had like a contract back then. So even though they weren't married, but back then, Arusa was considered a certain level of marriage. So already then there was a relationship with them, and he is considered like married, so on a certain level. In Edus, she is considered married. Only to her he's related. But he could testify to his malag. You know what malag is? Malag is miyuad liyot gis in Hebrew. Malag means he can testify to his future brother-in-law, because not brother-in-laws yet, or to her son, or to her daughter if she has from a different marriage. Yeah, and place nesa. Achi sena. Yeah, you don't become puzzle for testifying until he actually marries her. Yeah, achi sena. The final halacha tesvav. Zesh lepasla Torah edus hakrevim. The fact that the Torah disqualified, banned family members or people that are related to testify for each other. It's not because they probably love each other. That's why brothers love each other, right? Therefore, they cannot testify. No, you can't testify for the good or for the bad. You cannot testify. It's not because we suspect that you like him, therefore we don't want you to testify for him. No. Even if you want to testify against him, you can't testify. It's Gzeras HaKasuv. The Torah says, and that's it. Even Moshe Rabbeinu cannot testify for Yisrael. So even someone who's like a tzaddik, a righteous man, he cannot testify. It's not about emotions and personal gain over here. This Gedge thing is not like bound to your feelings. It's facts that the Torah says. Yeah? So what comes out of here? Someone who loves, someone who hates a specific party
he can still testify against or for that party. Yeah. You can't be a dayan because we're afraid you cannot rule against the person. Yeah, that you can't do. But if we know this guy doesn't like this person, he's coming to testify. He testifies. Doesn't make a difference if you like him or not. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be under. I wouldn't want to be a Birkas Kohanim when he's around there. If he's a Kohen which doesn't like you, I don't know if you want to be there. I think it says by Birkas Kohanim that the Kohen has to pretty much like everyone. If he doesn't like people, it might be a little bit of a problem. Only the Torah was only asked forbids or banned people from testifying. Only people who have a bloodline relationship. Thank you very much. That was it for today's Perek Yud Gimel. Baruch Hashem. I'm just going to give you a quick tip over here. Last time we did a shir was almost 2 weeks ago. And I don't know what exactly happened. We got very busy and we stopped. I stopped giving a shir. So that time that I stopped cost me 2 weeks, meaning I delayed 2 weeks. I'm 2 weeks behind over here. So what did we learn out? Don't stop. If you're doing something good, do not stop. But whatever it is, don't even stop. Because if you stop, you might end up being behind 2 weeks. So if you're doing something good, just continue, and do not stop. Thank you very much.